morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is Wednesday. I am down in Unionville to get my knee looked at by my doctor. Or not looked at, but he's going to tell me what he sees in the x-ray. And every day it gets a little bit better, but it's still kind of deep down weak, if you know what I'm saying. Like I was at the cottage on the weekend and I had to go onto the cottage because we were having a pump issue or a well issue. And when I went down there, I kind of was on the phone with the plumbing guy. And as I got closer onto the cottage, where it gets smaller and smaller, I kind of kneeled down and ow! He thought I hit my head. He's like, oh, did you hit a beam? Nope, bent my leg. So again, I'm kind of hoping that it's an injury as opposed to arthritis, because arthritis will stick with you forever. All right, let's go see what the doctor has to say. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am a happy man. Like I said, no arthritis. Yes! But it could be a meniscus tear, which is like that pad between the two leg bones. Right in the middle of the knee, there's this kind of like pad, and it's possibly there's a tear. He asked me, am I 10% better, 20, 30, 40, 50? I said, I'm 80% better than I was when I was in Japan, suffering the most pain that I've experienced ever on that leg. So he says, try 2 weeks of physio. And I don't know what that means, because, you have to go to physio every day? Anyway, so I'm thinking maybe go to physio next week and the week after. And if it's getting even better, then they will not send me for an MRI because it's just healing itself. It's somehow getting better by itself. So, like I said, I can walk now. I can ride my bike. Everything's fine. I just can't do deep knee bends without excruciating pain. So, yeah, that's the prognosis. And if they do send me for MRI, and it comes back with a tear, then the next thing you know, we'll have to go for surgery, like I did on my left knee when I tore that when I was doing spin class and rock climbing at the same time. Destroyed that knee. All right, so from here, we have to find out what time Jollibee is open. Probably 11. And right now it is 9:30. Same situation as yesterday. 9:30, 10:30. So 1.5 hours. Probably take 40 minutes to get there from here. So let's go down to Scarborough. Made it down to Jollibee. I can't believe it's here. That's so cool. So the first time I ever saw a Jollibee is in San Francisco. When people knew I was going to San Francisco, so many Filipino people that follow me on my food channel were saying, you got to do Jollibee when you're in San Francisco. And that was like the closest Jollibee to Toronto, right across 5,000 kilometers away. So now it's here. Unbelievable. Let's go check it out.
One drink, the one with the drink, and the other one with the...
Number 6, sir?
Yes. Should be good enough. I am in the great city of Scarborough, Ontario, Canada, at a Jollibee location. The last time I was at a Jollibee was in San Francisco. It's like leaking somewhere. It's not condensation. All right, so it's funny because I asked for a leg and they didn't really care. And I also asked for spicy and it doesn't look spicy. Again, I never normally order spaghetti, especially, how many fast food places have spaghetti? None. All right, let's just take a bite of this. Holy crap. There's a shine on it. And I'm gonna put it back in the box as the way it's supposed to be eaten. Hello vlog people, how did you like that little snippet tease for the Jollibee video, which will probably go up on Friday. I was going to do a mukbang, but there's so many other things on their menu that I could possibly make videos on and then eventually come back and do a mukbang. We have to go over to Henry's because this camera shut off multiple times, and somebody did agree with me, basically saying that the capacity of this card, the speed at which this card can be written to, isn't fast enough for this camera. So I agree, I concur with you. So let's go over to Henry's and buy a new card. You ready? Let's do this. Got my card, I went for the 64 gig. It's almost like $1 a gig now. Because it was like $60 something for a 64 gig. After tax it was $70. But at least I don't have to worry about my camera shutting off anymore. He says, oh, it should work. I'm like, what do you mean should? It's like a generation before the one that's in this camera that I'm using right now. And this one never, this card never screws up on me. I have to pick Ben up at 2:30, it's 11:30. So 3 hours. I was thinking of, while I'm down here, show you the very first house I ever lived in. You want to do that? Thumbs up. 1, 2. Okay, let's go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the first house I ever lived in. From birth to around 16 years old, we moved up to Markham. Wow. Still looks nice. My room was right there. There's my room. And my parents' room was that one. Around the corner was my sister's room. This is where the Windolfs lived, a German family. And that was Andrew's house, Andrea's house, Jonathan's house. So a bunch of us, I think Eve lived down there. And I can't remember the name of the people who lived in this house. My sister will probably leave comments. And this family and that family used to have a huge rivalry against each other. And they used to have a hedge between the two houses. And he would like to keep it nice and tidy. And he wouldn't leave it nice and tidy. So one day when this guy was gone, this guy took out a chainsaw and cut the whole hedge down. Police were involved. Wow, 21 Linville Road. My dad used to have 2 large pine trees here. And we used to have a bush. I can't remember what kind of tree it is. In the springtime, it would be all yellow flowers. And then it'd just be a big green bush after that. We did have a tree here, but I'm not sure if that's the same tree. You'd think it'd be a lot older by now, but everything else is completely changed, except the design of the house is exactly the same. I don't remember having those shuttery type things below the windows, but that was the laundry room, and that was the, it's like we call it the playroom, but it was the rec room, basically. And the Browns lived here. Look at the size of those Christmas lights on there. That's crazy. Yeah, I remember we used to have a TV antenna, and that's the exact same spot that we have the air conditioner. We actually had a fireplace, and you could clean it from the outside. So you could take this metal plate off and then take all the ashes out, so you didn't have to do it in the house. A little walk down memory lane. Nice. Yeah, every once in a while you have those like crazy vivid memories of things, and one of the things I remember is almost choking to death. Right there. I remember there was a car in the way, and these people used to have a fence that you could sit on, and somebody was handing out hard candies, and of course you put a hard candy in your mouth when you're, and I must have been about 5 or 6, like I just remember being really young, and running around in circles. I couldn't breathe, everybody's screaming and panicking. My mom comes out, I'm gonna phone the doctor, and I'm just like waving her off. I'm thinking, yeah, the doctor isn't gonna make it in time, I'll be dead by then. And then I just started throwing up and throwing up and throwing up, and then it dislodged the candy, so my body went into safety mode or survival mode and made me throw up the candy that was lodged in my throat. The memories that stick with you forever are intense. The backyard is completely different. We used to have a shed right just inside that gate. It's definitely a different fence, but we used to have a gate there and a fence, and then we used to have a shed, and then behind the shed were what do they call those things? Lilac trees. And we used to have a couple trees that we took from the cottage and brought them home. I think it was a birch tree, or maybe 2 birch trees, and they planted, they're gone. This definitely is the same tree that they planted 45 years ago. It's huge. Definitely. That's a 45-year-old tree or more. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. A little trip down memory lane for you. A little down memory lane for me, too. Oh, yeah, and the Armstrongs lived in the far house there. I don't remember ever knowing the people there.